Well, how do there, chums? I doff my cap and welcome back to Praey to the Gods. And I'm by a giant freaking wolf. And yes, we're on to the 7th creature. Yes, and I believe this might be the end boss creature. Now, he did have a wolf-like looking face. I thought we might be fighting that giant wolf. Heck no, we're not. Anyway, we're going to go down and we're going to talk to the three sort of sisters, the Norn, that are in sort of like the basement area in those coffins, but they still talk to you somehow. So yeah, let's speed up the footage of me legging it down there and let's go and speak to the Norn. I picked up an arrow as well, an extra arrow. Lovely jubbly, let's hear what they've got to say.
Segjum þykja þá ung, en gömul eru sem tími sjálfur. Dýrðartími þeirra nálgast, hlíf þú þeim fyrir hvern mun.
Right, so there's some wisdoms for you. Lovely. I do quite like the lore. I don't really understand what's going on if I have to actually be brutally honest. Right, so let's head on over and let's go and find that beam of light where we've got to go to have a fight. Beam of light to a fight. Brilliant. Right, so let's head on out onto here and looking over to yonder. Yes, there's the light over in yonder direction. And it looks like we may have to go past that Stonehenge sort of circle where we meet that frickin' nutter that could one-hit us. Yes, he's a mini-boss, but he's a frickin' git! Yes, he is. Yeah, in fact, actually, he now needs 2 hits to kill me, but he still kills me. I can't get him. Basically, you've got to stand on one of those structures, glide down and grab onto his back. He's got fur on his back, and he's just got one plunger, one bell to ring. Can I do it? Fudge no, because every time I glide towards him, as I'm about to put my glider away, as soon as I do, physics goes out the frickin' window. It's like you get a second wind or something. You go all over the frickin' place, like a leaf in the frickin' wind that is uncontrollable. So yeah, I haven't managed to take him out yet, and I can't frickin' be bothered to even try anymore. I've tried like about 10 times. Died 10 times. Not doing it again. Right, awesome. Right, now I'm picking some batteries, and we're heading towards this beam of light. Now, it's an easy jaunt, but it's quite a long one. No ghosts tried to get me on this one either, and nobody popped out the ground with frickin' swords. So maybe it's just the route I took, so you can see the route that I'm taking. It's just, go round the outside of that guy. Go round the outside of frickin' Stonehenge. Go over this way. There's a little mini puzzle, but it's not taxing at all. It's basically these little wind machines that blow you up in the air. You got to activate them first by hitting them. Now, you can just hit them with your actual grapple hook. You don't have to keep swapping to your sword. I've only just found this out now. yeah, brilliant. But yeah, you can just hit them with your grapple. You don't have to keep swapping. But yeah, I've got a melee weapon in my hand right now. So yeah, I didn't actually find this out until I'm actually on the boss, to be fair. But here you go. You can just use this and you just glide. And there is one that sends you off at an angle, with this one, and then that takes you to a flat one, and then the last jump, you can't really see where you've got to go. It's over to the right. It's kind of like a 2 o'clocky, 3 o'clocky position, in between 2 o'clock and 3 o'clock. Yeah. And anyhow, when you get inside of this cave, you are faced with a new mechanic. This new mechanic is to hit these glowing plants. You hit the glowing plants, and they put down like a little seed pod. And that seed pod is actually a seed cannon. Yeah, I know. Plant cannons. Yeah, after everything else that we've got, all the other physics is down to sort of like weaponry and all sorts of wizardry. This, I didn't quite get this or like it all that much. But then, because it ties into some of the lore that the roots are magical and they're festering out amongst the world and they're bringing magic to the world or something, maybe it does make sense. I don't know. It's just a little odd. Anyhow, you've got to use one of those to open the door. And now, that probably is giving you a hint of what's to come. Pretty much every time we've come across a new mechanic, like lighting up a freaking arrow or whatever, it then becomes part of the actual boss fight or using those wind machines. We're going to be using that plant cannon, it's kind of obvious. There's a lot of crates here to smash as well and stock up on some health replenishing items, and also you can actually scrap stuff, which I just found out. You can either ditch it and just chuck it away, but you can break it down into its base elements, and you can use some of those base elements to either upgrade armour and bits and bobs or to fix other stuff. So yeah, always break stuff down rather than chuck it away is another little tip. Awesome. Anyway, just follow this path up and you're going to get to these weird ass pylon looking things. Now you can see the middle one, the base of it's already red. That one's active, you just got to do the left and right. You've got to fire your plant cannons at those posts. This is just mainly getting your aim well. Make sure all the blue's gone, lovely jubbly. Then you'll be able to climb up to the very tops of them. And you only have to do this on the left and right towers. And yet you just stand on these pressure plates at the top and it's going to activate them. You'd know if you've done it right because the bottom of it will glow red. Right, Right, awesome. So here we go. Let's just fire that because there's still some blue still on there. They're now clear of all the blue little crystally things. I can climb up there using my grapple, so you don't have to climb all the way up. And yeah, I can just grapple across from top to top and just stand on that one over there. Done. They're all done. Now the middle plate has now gone bright red. Go stand in the middle of it. Don't jump off. This is actually going up. It threw me at first. I was like, what the fudge is going on? It's actually a lift. And it takes quite a while. This is actually in 8 times speed, so it takes a while. And it's the gravitas, the grandeur of you coming up to the boss chamber. It's pretty damn gnarly, to be fair. Yeah, I kind of liked it. Anyhow, make sure you've got your best items equipped. You haven't got nothing broken on you. This is where you can break stuff down and sort of invest in stuff. I built an extra grapple using some wood that I had. So I crafted an extra grapple there because, yeah, I've already got 3 of them. Right, brilliant. Got an idol, but yes, I only had 2 or 3. So yeah, I've only found 5 idols in my whole playthrough. I keep hearing noises that they're nearby. Can I see them? No, I freaking can't. Anyhow, we've got our boss sort of cutscene. Shut up for a moment, people. Okay, so the eagle-eyed amongst you may have noticed a little mini cut there, people. Yes, after it said game saved, I switched it off and then came back later. But yeah, as soon as it starts, run and hide behind some of this sort of debris, and he's going to throw these balls. And boom, smash the balls there, brilliant, nice. Sometimes those balls, when he throws them, he actually throws 4. So he throws 2 and then he throws another 2 almost immediately afterwards. And sometimes they collide against each other and cancel each other out, which is pretty darn sweet. It's very rare that it happens, but when it does happen, it does sort of save your skin every now and again. Now you want to use these little plant pods and aim at him and take out his leg and take out the thing hanging from his freaking chin that looks like a chin testicle, and then there's just one on his back. The leg and also the chin testicle are going to take like 3 plant cannons each. The thing on his back, only 1, but it's freaking hard to hit that one. Now the first area that you go to is maybe you only have 1, maybe 2 plants, and I just got hit by those freaking purple things that he throws. What I would say, if he hits you with the first ones, don't rush to get up. Just let the other ones smash above you because it doesn't do any damage. It kind of makes you immortal for a little while, or at least it does for me on PlayStation 5. Boom! That blew that little ankle bracelet off. Now, yeah, they're going to take 3 hits each. The top thing is only going to take 1. So after I've used the plants in this area, I move on to the next area. After he does the throwing things, he then laser targets you, and you can see the little balls of light, like a disco going on. Just make sure you're not standing on one of those balls of light, because he will zap you if you are. And then sometimes he hits the ceiling, and stalactites are going to fall down. They've got bigger sort of radiuses that you're going to see on the floor. Just stay out the way of those as well. It's quite easy to dodge those. The thing that's hard to dodge are the purple balls, but even then, as long as you stay moving and you don't stand still, you're probably going to be okay. So here you go. And you can just do a double roll if you need to. I just find just going left and right, meandering, snaking backwards and forwards, tends to do it, but sometimes he predicts the pattern of where you're going and throws them where you're walking to, and it slaps you straight in the face. Not great. Okay, right, so now that I've taken out his leg, I just need to take out that chin testicle thing. Boom, that's done. Nice. And now I just need to aim for the one on his back. Now what I would say is when he's standing square on, his head covers it. It's actually easier to hit when it's side on like this. Okay, so there you go. I think that's a little bit too high. And oh, he's moving. Oh, just skimmed it. Okay, let's try again. Hopefully, second time lucky. Come on. Brilliant. So this is where I find it easiest, when it's side on. Boom! Galazio Golio. He shoots. He scores. Boom. Yeah, awesome. That's all now clear. So it's now good to go up to him, use your grapple and grapple onto that chin testicle thing. Yeah, I don't know what else to call it, I'm sorry. But what the fuck? It's a bit of jewelry that's an overstatement. It's freaking mental. I don't know why he's got it on there. But there you go. Climb up that thing. It's like a part of the pillars that we smashed earlier. Right, awesome. Now you can see he's got a beard there, but it's too high for you to jump and reach. But we'll get to that when we get to it. Awesome. So what I would say is from here you want to aim towards his right leg. I do the right side of his body first. I don't know whether this is the correct method or whatever, but there's a little sort of magic ball there that you can hit. However, I rolled and then he kicked with his knee and it sent me off. So now I've got to get back onto that thing and repeat that step. Really freaking annoying. Do not stay on the floor for long. treat the ground like it's lava. If you're down there, he will stomp with either foot. He will bring down the ceiling. So he stomps on you. That takes half your energy. Then stalactites fall down. If they hit you, game over. If they don't hit you and you manage to get to your feet, he usually swipes as well. It's very difficult. Once you get hit, you're hit and you're probably going to die. So yeah, make sure you get off that ground as quick as you can with your grapple. And sometimes when it's swinging around, it's going to flicker on and off, and it's really freaking twitchy, and it's really freaking annoying. Anywho, when you're on his hip, you want to glide over to his right hand. Once you're on his hand, start going to the back side of his hand, you know, where my Roy Watch is over here. So get round as quickly as you can. Oh, we're getting mixed up with hands now. But get round behind the bracer, because he's going to fire lasers from that crown of his at you, and it's going to smash the bracer. So yeah, and then do the same again. Go round near to where his elbow is or whatever, and he's going to blow the rest of it off. Sometimes he does it in one hit, sometimes not. And then travel back round to the opposite side of his arm, and you're going to see on his upper bicep is a weak spot. He's going to try and blast you again, so just be sure to sort of duck and cover behind his own arm. Yeah, as soon as you see his like tattoos start going blue, that's a sign to get out the freaking way. So here we are on his bicep, ringing the bell. Now, when you've rung it, he will move just like all the other creatures. Now, to get back his stamina, it's a little bit like riding a horse on Red Dead. Just that sort of melody of hitting, bidding, bidding, bidding. Easy peasy. You might even get some stamina back rather than lose some if you get it right. So yeah, it's kind of like getting the rhythm. So here we go, done hit 2, and again I'm going to be hitting, and hopefully getting a bit of my stamina back. I think that pulsating ring has got something to do with it, but you kind of get in a rhythm that sort of works for you, and I've kind of learnt the rhythm now that I'm on him, which is probably the end boss. Yeah, well, he's the last one on the freaking board. So here we go, done that, excellent. And yeah, that has weakened his arm. But now what I want to do is, rather than go for his head, I'm going all the way back down his wrist. There's no sort of patches of hair that are going to get you anywhere near to his head. There's some on his back, but if you get there, you're kind of scuppered. You can't go up any higher. So I'm going to travel down his hand, and he's going to start turning his wrist. I'm going to go below his tattoo and sort of round this sort of area of his arm. Yeah, again, he's going to keep shooting lasers at the opposite side anyway. And you can see here he's going to start turning his hand, head towards his palm, and keep staying there until he finds this one. As soon as he starts turning his hand, then you start going back up to the top of his hand. And once it levels out, you want to glide down onto his back. Now there's those 2 pylons on his back. You remember when we had those pressure switches earlier on? You kind of treat them in the same way. However, you use his lasers to take them out. So here you go, I'm hiding behind it. He's going to blast it and it's going to take off that lower shell. And then I need to grab that post. I tried to grab the post, but he started writhing about, and yeah, I fall basically. And there's nothing I can do, nothing I can grab onto. So as I'm falling, I aim for any fur patches and I see his lower left leg by his shin has got another one of those little buttons. I am going to have to get all the way back up onto his back, and I think you have to do something with those pylons. I smashed them anyway. But here we go. Let's do the plunger on his leg. So the same thing as we did on his arm. Lovely jubbly. And yeah, now from his leg you can get onto his other arm. And he has got another plunger on his hand on that arm. So there's actually 4 points on this. So both his arms, his leg, his shin, and the top of his head, he's got 4 points in total. So yeah, here we go. Let's just get his leg done. And from here, I am going to try and get onto his arm because it is doable, but it's really freaking tricky. It's very twitchy to get there, to be fair. I think it's more to do with the actual game itself and the controls. But anyway, if you get up onto his leg here, you can then use your grapple to grapple up onto his hip. And then from his hip, you can jump and glide onto his arm. But the timing has to be freaking perfect. And I'm talking like gnat's whisker perfect in timing for you to do it. It's almost an impossible jump. I've done it once. So yeah, although this is my last perfect playthrough, so as well as, you know, like I said that I turned it off and I came back to it later, I died a fair few times before I turned it off. And yeah, so trust me, I think I died maybe about 4 times on this, trying to work out the best route for me to do this. And even though that I planned out my route, this perfect playthrough, that I'm calling it a perfect playthrough, wasn't perfect by any stretch of the imagination. I shouldn't have fallen off his back. Yeah, so really what I should have done is I should have taken out those 2 electric pylons and jumped down into his actual body. But we'll get to that. You know what? I'll speed up the footage of me getting back up on his back, and you're going to see I balls up a couple of times just trying to jump over to this leg, over to the arm. In fact, I think I fall off this arm in a moment, but let's speed up the footage. Right, so you still there? I had a few problems. I actually fell in the freaking hole when gliding over, and then when I tried to jump to his chinny chin chin, I missed. So yeah, it is really finicky. If he moves when you move, it sometimes just throws things completely out the window. Yeah, you've got two different mechanics working together there, as well as the cameras and the controls, and it just doesn't work. It's all about timing. It's all about timing and knowing when to move. That's the thing. That's the key. You've got to learn these creatures, and it's just the same with Shadow of the Colossus. So as the frustrations that I had with Shadow of the Colossus became part of the game's nuances, it became part of the creature's behaviours, and it's just the same with this. And they have nailed it. They've got the frustration and the satisfaction levels correct, to be honest. And I love this. I love this. I almost like it as much as Shadow of the Colossus, and Shadow of the Colossus is legendary in my eyes. And this game, it's on par. It kind of is on par. I don't want to say it is definitely on par, because Shadow of the Colossus is cult standard, you know. But I think this, given time, is going to really wow people, especially those that are fans of the Shadow of the Colossus. And because this is a craft of love from these people, these three guys that put this together, it's actually phenomenal. Anyhow, I do a review after I've done all this anyhow. But there you go. You saw what I did there. So I stood on the pressure plate. I hit the magic orb that's in there. It opens up his chest cavity. You jump from his chest cavity and glide onto his chin. And then from his chin, you just work your way up the side of his freaking face, up on his beard. Yes, beardy man. And then from here, you have to sort of jump over that ring of his neck. He does sort of thrash about a bit, so be a little bit careful that you time it right. And there we go, you're on his head, and again, it's just 3 plunges into his freaking skull. Yes, there's the first one. Chicka-boom! Ring that bell, and then he fries around. Yeah, just make sure you're holding on for dear freaking life, and yeah, doing the little tappity tap tap with your rhythm, and getting back some of your staminans. Yes, heck yes, brilliant. Take that, you zebra-faced, light, evil demon. Yeah, he really does look demonic, doesn't he? He's kind of like got a giraffe-type neck, he's got ram horns, he's got all sorts of shenanigans going on. And the noise he makes, the squealing, ow! Yeah, sounds a little bit like the boar-type one that we had that was charging at us in that sort of round arena. Yeah, I don't know which creature I like the most. You know what, I think I like Stan, you know, the Yeti. I think I like him the most, just because he ate me. You'll get back. Yeah, I like him because he infuriated me the most. I know that's weird. That is weird, isn't it? But yeah, anyhow, now I managed to glide straight onto his arm. That was pure luck there, but then I stumbled and fell. I thought, brilliant, jackpot. Yes, I'm on the last place that I needed to be. Now, you can, like I say, go from his leg over here, from his hip this side, and jump if you time it just right and get onto his arm. You can see here, I tried like twice, and then I'm like, right, okay, fine, that's not working for me. I'm now going to go to the opposite side of his body. You know, like we did before, when we get him to lift his arm up and he's going to turn it round and then we're going to jump and glide. Well, from his actual back, it's easier to get onto that last arm, you know, his left arm. So here we go. What I'm going to do, this is what I mean by he smashes the ceiling and he tries to stomp you. Do not stay on the ground for long. Treat it like it's lava. The ground is lava! Okay, right, so this time I'm going to his right side of the body and we're going to get him to do all that sort of, yeah, check the time sort of thing. And then I'm going to run, jump onto his back, and then we're going to go down onto his left arm from there. Now, once you get to the top joint of his left arm, you need to sort of make sure he isn't trying to zap you and just drop onto his lower part of his arm and grab hold of it. It is a little bit tricky, but it's far easier than going off of his hip and trying to jump across. If you might have better time than me, you might do it first time. Give it a go. But for me, it really just wasn't happening today. So yeah, I did it this way. And yeah, just sort of stay in sort of the cavities of the ring, and hopefully he's going to blast that off. If he does hit you, hopefully you've got some provisions on you to sort of cure yourself. The only thing is, to use your provisions, you can't be grappling on. You've got to be at a flat stage. He will level out at this stage, so you could access it right now. But to be honest, if you get to the plunger on his arm, you've pretty much done it. He does thrash around a lot, and you can see here my stamina is low, and I'm trying to recover it, but because he's really thrashing around, I'm not getting the recovery rate like I have done on all the other pressure switches. So before you maybe make it onto this part, or the last part of the shackles being blown off, make sure you've got full stamina. Right, so yeah, here we go. I'm going to be plunging that into his arm. Excellent, eh? You can see there he's now charging up. All of his tattoos have gone blue. I thought he was going to zap me. I'm trying to hold on for dear life. I've only got to plunge one more time, but look at my stamina compared to that plunger. It's tight. It's freaking tight. We're right on the edge of the seat, and we're done. We freaking got you. Ha ha! Take that! Yes, you! We didn't give this guy a name, did we? But I believe his real name is like Thrall, like Thrall or something like that, like Troll. To me, he looks like a Waldo. Yeah, I'm just going to call him Waldo. There we are. He's a bit weird, a bit odd, isn't he? Waldo, I think, is quite a nice name for him. Yep, he's dead, or Fraggle. He does look like something kind of Fraggle Rock, to be fair, doesn't he? Yeah, he does look like a little Fraggle. Right, we got him! Kaboom! Die, Fraggle Walgo! Yeah, done. And that's pretty much that. So we've vanquished him, and now we're going to get a little cutscene. You know what? I'll shut up for this bit. Yeah. So this bit kind of reminds me of Ghostbusters for some reason, where all the clouds come above that big tower when the two dog statues come alive and all that sort of shenanigans, Zool or whatever it was, and the Keymaster, that sort of thing. But yeah, that's pretty much that. Now I could go and speak to those three little kids, and that's going to initiate yet another boss fight. Yeah, so we're coming back for another episode, but for now we're just going to go down and we're going to talk to the three sisters and see what the three sisters have to say. So you know what? I'm going to say nothing for a moment, people. Heck yes.
Brátt skal seiðurinn vera fullgjör. Röðurnar eru sterkar og hafa frjóin tekið að margfalda. Veginn hefur fest. Farð þú í mót þeim við tjörninni og hef inn síðustu stig. Þar saman nýta eldur og ís.
Right, so there we go. That's what the three sisters had to say, and they mentioned about the roots of power and all that, so it sort of ties into those sort of magical plant cannons. Over here, I did notice that there's some sparkly stuff. There's some swords here. There's like 3 of them. But yeah, help yourselves to them. I helped myself to 1 earlier, but didn't have enough inventory, so I'll come back for the other 2. Lovely. Heck yes. But until next time, people, because there is actually one more boss that isn't on that board. This happens afterwards when we go talk to those 3 children. So I will be back for that. See you soon. Goodbye, goodbye, and goodbye again. Well, thank you very much for watching. If you like what you see, please hit a like and a subscribe, and I'd like to say a massive great big thank you to all of my backers over on Patreon and over on YouTube membership. Thanking you, backers! And if you want to support this channel, just don't skip the adverts. That throws revenue down my avenue. Or yeah, just stay with Captain Steve that little bit longer and hit something on this screen. There's merch here now too.